What's up, you guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Stella Herself podcast. This is my first episode in my new place. I'm so happy to be here, honestly, and I still gotta work on the layout. Like, I don't hate this, but I just want it to be really cute, and like, this is gonna be my desk area. I'm still getting set up, y'all. It has been such a whirlwind this whole past month. I feel like it should still be June 1st, and it's like almost July 1st. With that being said, thank you for all the support on my last episode. Anyway, so I wanted to talk a little bit about like what I've been going through recently. And then I asked you guys to ask me for some topics on IG. There was definitely a lot of spam. Someone said, let me invert you to my house, BB. So we're going to see what's on there. But yeah, I mostly just really want to give you guys like a life update and check in with you. How has this Mercury retrograde been going, y'all, for you? Because I feel like, I don't know, I feel like maybe it's just because more stuff is open now. Okay, well, I feel like the past few Mercury retrogrades before this have been very like internal for me, and just like a lot of realizations and like reflections, and just very like emotional and more mental. This one, I feel like, was definitely more just like stuff going astray. For example, let me fucking tell you this little story time before we get into the really deep stuff. But y'all know I went to New York. We're going to get into that. The emotions of that. But our flight got delayed on the way there because there was thunderstorms in New York. There was none while we were there, which is great. But flying in, like, our flight got delayed by several hours just because of the weather. But you know, so it was fine. The trip pretty much, as far as Mercury retrograde stuff, pretty much I think was fine. There was definitely a few things that's like, oh, we wanted to do this, but then we weren't able to because of like, again, like the weather or like just random stuff, whatever. But let me fucking on the way back, our flight got delayed. We had two flights, so we had a layover. The first flight got delayed a bunch. We were supposed to leave by like 4, I think. We didn't end up leaving till like 8:39, I think. So then we get to Chicago and our flight is delayed more. And at first we were like, okay, good, that flight's also getting delayed, so we're not going to miss it, you know, because it's a connecting flight. But then we get there and it's like delayed again. And we're like, oh my God, like we're going to get to LA at like 3 a.m. at this point just because it keeps getting delayed. So we were like, fuck. But I just felt very like, not stressed out, not even worried, just kind of like numb. Like I just was so exhausted. I just wanted to get home, and I was just kind of in that mindset of like, okay, let's just get through this. Like I wasn't really feeling any type of way about it. I was just like, let's just get through this. Like I literally was sitting in a little airport chair, you know, the rows of chairs. I was sitting straight up, just like sleeping. Like obviously a bad sleep, but you know, I was like taking a nap because I was just like, get me out of here. Like, it's just like, you can't really do anything, you know, you just have to wait it out. So then there's literally 20 minutes until boarding. Finally, everyone's at the gate, everyone's like ready to go. And they're like, your flight is canceled. And it's like 1 a.m. at this point, I think. Maybe it was like midnight, but it was like late, you know, and we had been sitting there all day. We already had a flight and we'd already been waiting for that all day. Bitch, we're fucking exhausted, and it's been like a week of no sleeping, which low-key, like, I really helped. Shout out to my bod for really holding up. I think I just stayed really hydrated, but yeah, in the vlog, someone commented, like, wow, I couldn't drink every day like this. It's like, honestly, we weren't really drinking, like, that much, and we were just drinking so much water, because none of us wanted to be, like, fucked up or hungover or just, like, too drunk in an unfamiliar city, you know? Like, especially if you're at home, or, you know, at least in your home city, it's like, okay, I know all the routes. I know the tricks of the trade. There's someone I could call to help me if I need it. You know, you just have all of that, like, security. Obviously, it's like, still be careful, especially as a woman. But, like, in an unfamiliar place, it's just, like, that's so much more heightened. So, like, I was, like, great. Like, I was so proud of us because we just stayed so hydrated on top of it. I didn't really feel hungover at any point, which is great. And I'm like, oh, so drinking 1 water per drink really does work. Like, oh, what a revelation. Anyway, So they're like, your flight is canceled. So of course everyone gets in the fucking line to figure out their flight. And I was having flashbacks to when this happened to me in Germany, when whatever airline it was, like, I don't know if they went bankrupt or just quit the day that I had a flight. So I literally was in this line to get another flight for 8 hours. I think I lightly vlogged it, but not really, because I was just like, that was like anxiety. That was stressful. I was in a whole nother land by myself. But this was just like, what do we do? Like, fuck, we just have to wait. So they give us a fucking flight the next day, bro. Like, the next day, late as fuck. We weren't going to get to LA till like 10 p.m. And it was just like, ew. So, and then we're like, oh, do you guys have a hotel for us? Whatever. They're like, no, you can book it yourself, and like, we might be able to reimburse you. I'm like, sorry. So we ended up booking a hotel, and mind you, all of our checked luggage was already like in LA or on the way or something. So we had no luggage, no toiletries. I just ended up, like, I had just put everything in my checked bag because I was like, I don't want to take it out of security. And that's the downfall. Like, I just got so used to not checking a bag throughout like all of my more traveling years, you know, before I rented an apartment and whatnot. But now it's like you kind of get used to the lifestyle, like just checking it all, and like, I don't want to deal with it. But it's like times like this, it's like, damn, I could really use my face wash or like an extra pair of shorts or whatever. A good thing to do is like just keep an emergency underwear, emergency short, an emergency t-shirt, an emergency little face wash like in your carry-on. Anyway, so we sleep at this hotel. Like, I'm like, I'm not gonna shower. I don't want to put on my dirty clothes. I'm just gonna sleep. I splashed some water on my face. I didn't have a toothbrush, bitch. And the hotel was like, we're out of toothbrushes. They're like, we can give you a packet of toothpaste, but we can't give you a toothbrush. I was like brushing my teeth with my finger. Like, it was rough. But again, it's like, I just wasn't really that emotional about it because I was just like, we have to do this, you know? Like, I don't know. It's just like, whatever. And thank God it happened like on the way back and not on the way there, because that would have definitely sucked. You know, that's like taking time out of your trip. But this was just like, okay, I just want to go home. Like, fuck, but I'm not. It's like, okay, whatever. Could have been worse. So we literally book a different flight on a different airline because we're like, we just need to get up and get the fuck out of here. Like, also the flight that they gave us, not only were we gonna get to LA super late, but like, it was like 3 flights. So it was 2 layovers. It was just such a waste of time. Gross. Ew. Like, fine, I'll literally pay the money. Like, ugh, hate that. But like, whatever. Sometimes you just have to do what you have to do. And time is money, so whatever. So annoying, but definitely like a Mercury retrograde classic. But I'm just glad that like that was pretty much the only major thing. Like, everything else really worked out. So yeah, but let me fucking tell y'all, I think my Mercury retrograde realization is that I need to move to New York. And I know some of y'all have told me that before, but you know, I'd only been once. And just my last experience there was so different. Like, you can literally watch the vlogs, but you know, I wasn't even 21. Like, I just feel like I didn't really even experience it at all. But this time, bitch, like, I just feel like we met so many people, you know, from there, so many locals, and like made so many friends, and like, it was just such an amazing experience. Like, it was just so good. Literally the first day I was like, I need to be here. Like, these vibes I'm trying to create here of like, oh, I don't drive, I walk, I take the train, I just Uber, whatever, like, oh, and like, I just always think to myself like, oh, like, I wish I could just go to a park and like chill, but it's like, you just can't do that here. Like, it's just so different. And I think also what I really noticed is like, sometimes I be feeling like weird when I walk places, and I feel like people are looking at me, and like, I don't know. It's just like, I never really see other, like, I mean, sometimes, you know, but it's not just like a regular thing if I see like another girl my age, you know, walking to the store, or like, I don't know. Like, sometimes, but it's not just like, oh, like, it's like I think about it and I notice it, you know? It's just like everyone drives, and I feel like here it's very like everyone is very isolated because it is like a driving culture. So it's not like you can just like walk down the street and like there's everything you need. Like, yeah, because I live downtown, I can, but it's like still, I don't know. And like when we would go out, especially like in Soho and whatnot, like there's just so many bars, and because so many places are like outside, just like everyone's on the street and like everyone is just like outside, and there's just not really a lot of places like that here. Like, yeah, there'll be like a block where there's like a couple bars and maybe like people loitering outside, but it's not like this vibe of just like everyone's just like out on the street like talking to each other, and like it's just so normal. And I just really liked that. And it's weird because even though like, I mean, obviously it depends like on where you live in LA, obviously. But just walking through like the neighborhood that we were staying in, you know, it's like so many people are outside enjoying, just like on their stoop or like on their porch or whatever, just like enjoying the vibes. And we don't have that here. So it's almost like, oh, people spend, okay, again, I just don't drive and I live in the city. So I'm not really like in nature that much unless I go out of my way. Or I like go on my roof. But even that's like so different because again, it's like you're very like isolated. If I go on my roof, it's like just me sitting there and looking out over it. You know, it's not like I'm sitting outside like watching people or like talking to people. You know, I don't know. What I was gonna say though was like I feel like you could almost spend more time outside there, even though you'd think it would be here because it's like, oh, West Coast, like, oh, hiking in the beach and like outside, but it's like, I don't know, at least for me, how often do I really do that? Like, it's just one of those things. It's like, oh yeah, the beach is like always there, so like I go like once or twice a year, you know? But that's like me, like everyone's different. There's people who that's their life. But like for me. So yeah, I just literally from the first day that we were there, I was like, I need to be here. And I didn't really feel like that last time. And I think also it was like we were staying in a different area, so it wasn't as like neighborhood and cute and whatnot, but like I just felt it. And it's like low-key the same feeling I had about LA when I wanted to move here, you know? So literally like I cried leaving because I was just like so sad to leave. And then when I got home, I just felt like, ew. Like, dude, let me know if you can relate. Ever since I remember the first time I ever came to LA when I was in 6th grade, I felt this feeling like flying over it, or like, I remember we stayed in Santa Monica there. Like at that time, I don't know what year that was, but I just had this like feeling about it. Like when we would fly over, and I would just look at it and look at the hills and like just the landscape and whatnot. I'd be like, oh, like this is just like a feeling of like, And I swear I have always felt that about LA. And this was the first time ever flying in that I was like, I did not feel it. Like I felt like, ew. Like I don't want to be here. Like, and it's not like, I don't know, I feel like a lot of people, you know, move to LA and then they're like, ew, I hate it here, like, get me out of here, ew, people are so fake, it's such a toxic place, whatever. It's not like I feel that, but I just feel like with what I want in my everyday life, and like, I don't know, it's like, here, it's very much, again, it depends, everyone has a different experience, but it's very like, you go out, you go to an after party, or you go to like a mansion party, I don't know, you drive, like, I don't know. The vibe was just so different over there, and I just felt like I connected to it a lot more. I don't know. So it's not like it's just like, you know, you change and you learn what you like and what you don't like and like which vibes are for you. But fuck, it was just so much better. Like, I'm actually shook because I didn't expect to feel like this, you know? Like, we just decided to go because we were like, oh, yeah, we had fun last time, but now, you know, we can have more fun. We know kind of what to look for almost, or like what vibes that we want. You know, we don't want to really do touristy stuff. We just kind of want to go chill. I'm 21 now, or like, you know, over 21, so we can actually go out. Yeah, it was just like such a different experience and such a good experience. Like, I'm just shook. Yeah, so even all that bullshit happened, like with the the flights and whatnot. I was like, literally, it's worth it. Like, it was so worth that week because it was just so amazing. And not even amazing in like a, you know, like, oh, I'm in paradise kind of way, like an unrealistic, like, fantasy. You know, if you like go on vacation and you're just like by the beach all day and you're like, oh, I wish I could just do this every day. Like, it wasn't like that. It was just like, oh, the vibes that I've been wanting, or like everything that's missing here for me is there. Again, just in that like everyday life kind of vibe, you know? Like, I live in LA, but I live downtown. So it's like, obviously, it's just something I like about the city, but the city here is like just so different from there. Like, I feel like here it's like low-key more unsafe and more gross because it's like there's just less people out. So when there's more just like regular people, when just everyone is like out walking or out at the park, like that was another thing. I was like, damn, everyone's like outside here, everyone's at the park, and I'm just kind of like, what else is here for me? Like, I don't know. And I was kind of feeling like that, you know, okay, literally relax. I was feeling like that before I signed this lease, you know, but I was like, okay, I'm going to give it like another year in this new space and just like see how I feel. And it's like, bitch, I literally got my answer the month that I moved in. So, you know, I did sign a year lease, so we got to wait it out. But I think, you know, in the meantime, it's like, and who knows, maybe in a year I'll change my mind. Like, who knows? But this is just how I'm feeling right now. And I can kind of treat it like, okay, this is like going to be my last year in LA, or, you know, last year for now, or whatever. If I'm going to leave, you know, what haven't I done yet? What else do I want to experience? And like kind of living with a little YOLO attitude. But then it's like, even if I ended up staying, it would still be like, that's just like a good way to live. I feel like, obviously responsibly, but like, yeah. And especially with, you know, not really being able to do much last year, it's kind of like, I feel like a lot of people just feel that way regardless. But yeah, so let me know if you can relate to any of these feelings, like even if they're not specific to my situation, but just like feeling like you connect to a place. And like, yeah, I think it's just so much more fun to be older too, because I'm just, you know, a lot more confident now. And it's like, the more you experience, the more you know what you like and what you want and what you don't want. And that goes for anything, like your life, your lifestyle, where you want to live, the relationships or friendships you want to have, etc. Yeah, I was like very shook. I literally just like the first day. This is before any antics, before any bullshit happened, or like anybody, anything. But like just walking down the street, I was just like, oh my God, like this is what I want. And I mean, there's like cons too, but it's just like, yeah. So I would really love to move there. I really want to go back ASAP. They did give me a voucher for my troubles. So catch me there like next month. I just want to go like every month. Crazy. Like, I'm shook. It's exciting though. Like, it's like a new chapter coming, you know? I also would like to share, I guess, as vaguely as possible. I don't want to be specific, but I was like, I don't know, I had to like deal with some bullshit, a few bullshits, and just like, you know, situations where maybe I had to set a boundary or speak up for myself or whatever. And I was just doing some reflecting, and like, I handled the situation so well and just was so straightforward. And most surprising, I didn't even really think about it. Like, it just came so naturally for me to like state what I wanted, what I was comfortable with, whatever. And I was just thinking back to like a few years ago, that would have been so hard for me, and I would have been like sweating and like overthinking it and like asking everyone I know, like, is this okay to say? Like, what should I say? Like, oh my God. And I was like, I didn't even do any of that. I just said it. So the moral of the story is, practice makes perfect. Practice setting boundaries, push through the discomfort, just accept that you're going to be uncomfortable, and it will get easier. Healing, I don't even really like that word. I feel like it's kind of like overused and annoying. But I guess that's like a good descriptor. You know, healing or like overcoming fear of like, I don't know, of asking for what you want, or it's low-key, it really comes down to like a fear of intimacy, you know? If you feel uncomfortable asking for what you want, or like speaking your mind or speaking up, it's like, especially in interpersonal relationships, I feel like a lot of the time it can be a fear of intimacy. I saw some kind of post like that, like avoiding asking for help is avoiding intimacy, because it takes a lot of like courage to actually be vulnerable and like, you know, say what's on your mind or how you feel, or like if you're uncomfortable with something, if you don't want to do something, or if you do need something, like, can you help me with this, or can we do this instead, or like, no, I don't want to do that, let's do this, you know? It's just like, you know, if someone says no or rejects you, it's like, it just is so much worse. Avoiding honesty. And y'all know, I said this was my year. What did I say? I wanted to be more honest this year, and not like, oh, I want to lie less, but just like, I want to be more straightforward, and like, if I want something, I'm going to ask for it. And it's like an ongoing process, you know? It's not just like, I've said this before, it's not just like an easy, like, okay, I'm just going to start doing that from now on. It's like, bitch, pretty much every time you're faced with this situation, it's hard and uncomfortable and awkward, and you want to die. But the more you do it, the easier it gets. I swear to God. I swear to God. Yeah, so I was kind of proud of myself, because I was like, damn, I really handled that well. And like, with that being said, though, there's also been times where I didn't, you know, present day. It's like, damn, I kind of let someone overstep my boundary, or like, I kind of went along with something even though I wasn't 100% okay with it. But it's like, okay. Let's not judge myself. I'm recognizing the feeling. Now I know the difference of being proud of myself and being like, bitch, you could have done better, or you could have like said something. And it's really like an ongoing thing. I've said this before too, but it's like, I swear to God, you'll be faced, once you're aware of it, it's like you're faced with a situation every day where you need to be uncomfortable, basically. Like, ask for help, set a boundary, say no, say, actually, let's do this, or I want this, or I need this, or whatever. Yeah, so it's like a lot. And I just feel like a lot of my growth, at least, you know, from, I don't know, I think of 2016 when I would like talk about spirituality. Embarrassing, bro. My perception has just like changed so much, and I feel like I've probably talked about this before as well, but I feel like I've gone from this place of like striving for happiness, or like, I don't know, it's like, okay, I'm kind of over the law of attraction and the manifestation, and let's like get uncomfortable, bitch, and let's actually deal with like our actual problems and like our trauma, and, you know, how can we, I want to say be better, but I don't think it's really so much being better as like, I hate to say healing ourselves, and like, I don't know, it's like everyone has different things, so if we can get to the root of that, instead of like trying to add layers of like, oh, I'll just manifest, this fake positivity vibe, y'all know what I'm talking about. It's like that, okay, that's not gonna like really do much if you have like, I don't know, issues with setting boundaries or whatever. It can go even deeper than that, but you know. So yeah, with that being said, I do really want to get back into meditation, and of course doing more yoga, but especially meditation, because I feel like it helps me so much. I'm a very anxious person. Oh my God, you're so laid back. No, bitch, I force myself to be that way or come across that way because I am overstressed and over anxiety all the time, literally my whole life. It's like, oh, that's why people think I'm chill, because it's like, oh, well, I know that I'm stressed. I don't want to make other people recognize my stress, so I'm just going to go along with stuff and like be chill and be calm and not cause a scene. Realizing that, life-changing. Like, oh, I'm not actually a relaxed, laid-back person. Like, I'm just afraid to speak up for myself. Wow. Now that's a realization. So yeah, it's like, I think for myself, I've really had to teach myself and tell myself, like, I have to be okay with coming across as a bitch. I have to be okay with coming across as high maintenance or selfish or, all these like so-called negative traits, especially in a woman. I have to be okay with it, especially in dating and like interactions with men. I feel like especially then, because it's so easy to be taken advantage of or like, manipulated. Not that we can always like avoid being manipulated, but just like, I'm not just going to go along with something, or I'm going to try not to go along with something just out of fear of like, oh my God, what if they think I'm mean? It's like, I'm ready to be the bitch now. I've had enough. Okay. And every time I like speak my mind, set a boundary, or whatever, I just imagine dapping myself up, and I imagine all the past me's, like, I'm doing this for you, baby. Like, I got you now. With that being said, again, it's an ongoing process. It's not just like I'm healed. I'm ready to go. Like, life is perfect now. It's like, no, I still want to vomit and die. But at least we're aware of it and recognizing it and like know the vibes. So yeah, it's just like really interesting. It's like, what else can I realize, Yeah. With that being, I don't know, with that being said, I was kind of talking about this in my vlog that's going to go up this week. Maybe it's already up. But this has been a very weird transitional time in my life. Like, just, I guess, honestly, this whole year, like, first of all, my BBL, not that was like traumatic or anything, but sometimes I'm like, what the fuck? Damn, I really did that. And then just this past month, I feel, moving, and then literally the day after moving into a new space, going on a trip, and then coming back and like not really feeling like this is my home yet, like still feeling unsettled in it, and like I don't really know where stuff is, and like what light switch does what, and like all my products are everywhere, and I don't really know like the flow of it yet, or my almost like routine with this space yet, so it's kind of been like weird. And then it's like, oh, I'm really like grown now. Like, I don't know. It's just weird, but not terrible or like, I don't know. It's just like interesting to observe, I guess. It's like, we're really coming to this new chapter. It's just like life changes fast, like a year ago was so different than now. It was just like exciting. I don't know. I feel like I do enjoy life for the most part, when when you look at the overview and you're like, each year is like a different chapter, a different season, and like there's different characters and we're learning different things. There's different plots. But yeah, it's just like a little unsettling sometimes. Like, wait, slow down, bro. Like, time's moving too fast. What the fuck? Again, we get to my point of meditation, yoga, taking time, making deliberate time to slow down. I've really not been good at that recently because I've been all over the place. So, it's Monday, first official week, work week in this apartment, in this space. I ordered a desk. I ordered some organizational supplies. We're going to get the space together, get my mind right, start the meditation regime, start working out again. I'm meal prepping this week, and it's bitch Cancer season. By the time this podcast goes up, is it officially Cancer season today? I don't know, but I think Cancer is my favorite sign. I honestly, truly am a Cancer, y'all. I know I'm a Leo, but I was supposed to be a Cancer, and my sun is in the 4th house, which is the house of Cancer, and my Venus and Mars are in Cancer. So I just feel a lot more Cancer inclined. And that also realizing that has also made my life made a lot more sense. That's why I'm like that. Oh, like emotional. Okay. Yeah, so if you don't know, Cancer is a water sign, but it's a sign for I mean, people want to be like, oh, it's think emotional. It's like a sign. It's like the mother sign. So very like, it's a time of being domestic, basically, and taking care of your home and your family and like those close to you. So, get some fresh flowers for the house. This is actually like, bitch, if astrology's not real, then why did I go on an NYC antic trip in Gemini season? And as soon as I get back and want to get my life together, my home together specifically, it's Cancer season. Riddle me that. But like, so this is actually perfect. Like, wow, divine timing. Seriously. I really love Cancers though. I think my favorite example of a Cancer is this club promoter is like literally like the best club promoter ever. Like, always makes sure you're good. Like, welcomes you, hands you a drink first thing, is always making sure you're good. Like, because he's a Cancer. He just wants to take care of everyone and make sure everyone's good. My first like real crush was a Cancer. My first boyfriend was a Cancer. Like, I love Cancers. And I think it's just because like I have so much Cancer on my chart. And my Venus and Mars, which is like, your how you love, how you receive love, etc. Both in Cancer. So I just like love that. I feel like people really either love or hate Cancers. But yeah, I've had like so many friends that are Cancers. I just like really, I think it's just like because I get it. Yes. My sister's a Cancer. My sister's really a Gemini though. Like, go seriously. But like, she's a Cancer. Yeah, it's actually really funny. Like, I mean, I don't know if anyone cares about this, but like, I'm a Leo, but there was like this website and I forget what it was, but I remember posting it on my IG story, but you put in your birth chart info and it shows you like a graph, like a pie chart of, how much of your chart, like the percentages, how much of it is earth, how much of it is fire, water, air, etc. So I'm a Leo, but my chart, I'm mostly like water and earth and like no air and like just like a tiny little percentage of fire. So it's like, that's why you really have to look at the whole chart. And then my sister's a Cancer, but her whole thing was like literally all air. This bitch is a Gemini. And like, she has like a Sagittarius somewhere. Like, so it's just interesting. It's really interesting. So I'm like, low-key, I'd rather have like I don't know. I just love water. It's like me. So I'm like not like fiery. That's why I'm like, oh, I'm like actually pretty shy. And like, just like, I want to step back. Just like, go home. Self-realizations. Am I right? Yeah. If I find the website, I'll link it down below, or if you know the name of it, please comment this if you're watching this on YouTube, or DM it to me and I'll put a little update. But it's just really interesting to see like what, like the percentages, because it's like, okay, I knew I had a lot of earth in my chart, but like I do, and water. Yeah. So little known fact, like I know I love a Leo season, but I'm so glad Cancer season's in between Gemini and Leo season. Like, I can't imagine doing both at once or, like, going, like, right back. It'd be a lot. So I'm, like, honestly ready to chill. Get the fuck. And enjoy my life. Oh, let's see what you guys asked in IG. Current manifestation routine. I guess I kind of talked about this. Dealing with your actual problems. No, but with that being said, I really feel like meditation and journaling, like not to be basic, and bitch, also obviously we know that like privilege has a lot to do with it. I don't know. I just feel a little uncomfortable. Like, but I think if you look at it more in terms of vibes and feelings, and not like physical goals or like physical goods, I feel like that goes a lot longer of a ways. For example, before I got this apartment, before it was secured, I was journaling about like, oh, I want a new space with like a lot of windows. And I was just like, not only the physical stuff, but like how it was making me feel. And I was like, oh, my social life is like bussin', but fulfilling. And like, you know, I just feel so creatively inspired, and I'm just so excited to get up every day and like create, but I'm still like seeing my friends, and I just feel so balanced and like healthy, but like I'm just enjoying myself, and just really, really focusing on feeling words. And like that just goes so much further than like, I will have my dream house. I will have my dream house. Like maybe that works for you and that makes you feel a certain way, so therefore it works. But focusing on like your mindset, but even that, it's like, okay, not everyone's brain works the same. So like, I don't know, but that's just genuinely what I do, and it helps me, you know, just feel a little more like I have control over my life, and like, okay, we're actually going somewhere. Yeah, and meditation, you know, just to center yourself and ground yourself, like that's just gonna help regardless. So, yeah, feeling unheard in a relationship, like you trying to set a boundary and your partner disregards it. That's kind of hard. I don't know the specifics, but I will say, I guess as a general advice, you know, one of the things I learned in my senior year interpersonal communications class was communicating is not like just saying what you need to say, but it's like saying it to someone in a way that they're going to comprehend it and understand it. So like, for example, I don't know, if there's like a bro that you're talking to and you're like uncomfortable, okay, let's like something light, you know, I don't know, you're like, ew, that pissed me off when you did that. Or like, no, let's say you're talking to someone and like, oh, I don't actually like them, but they still like me, but I just kind of think of them as a friend or whatever. Like, you could do a textbook like, I regret to inform you that unfortunately I feel like I value you more as a friend. I wish you the best. Everything is like capitalized and punctuated properly, you know? But then it's like, I don't know, if you say it in a way that they're going to like relate to and cover, like, oh, like, I don't know if I'm feeling this, like, I don't know, that's just the first thing that came to mind. But like, maybe try that, or like with setting a boundary, like, obviously it depends on what it is. If it's big stuff, important stuff, and they're just completely disregarding it, like, maybe reevaluate your relationship with this person and ask yourself, like, why do I like this person? Why am I drawn to them? Like, what do I gain? But I don't know if it's like, oh, it's hard for me to think of an example, but maybe try to like say it or phrase it differently, or in a way that they're more likely to like get. Is that helpful? But obviously, again, if it's like a big thing or whatever, or they're just like flat out disrespecting you, like, maybe it's time to reevaluate the relationship. I hope that's good advice. Like, I never would just want to be like, break up with them, because it's like, okay, bitch, I don't have feelings involved, so that's easy for me to say. But a lot of these things I've already talked about, like astrology, shadow work. I don't really know about that, but is that kind of what I was talking about before? Like, deal with your actual problems. How to not feel like life's running away from you / growing up and not having found your purpose yet. I don't know, bro. Like, seriously, you just gotta like vibe it the fuck out. I would say genuinely, like, just do as much as you can, in the sense, not like in a capitalism way, but just like have as many different experiences as you can. If you're able to travel, do that. Like, and especially if, you know, you're high school, like about to graduate, or you've graduated, like college age, like there's just so many opportunities where you can, like, I don't know, what was it? I know a thing a lot of people in my school did was like, you can go like work on a farm overseas somewhere, and like you get to stay there, and like, I mean, this sounds kind of like, well, working on a farm, but it was like something kind of cute. Like, I forget, but all these girls were gonna do it. I don't know if they actually did, but like a work study, I don't know, but just like look into stuff like that. Again, if you're able to travel, like, I think it's just crazy. And I think one of the things that I really learned from this past trip I had was like, it's not a mushroom trip, guys, like a trip to New York, just a little flight. It's like you don't even really know what's out there if you don't know. Because it's like we're in our everyday routines, we're in our lives, we think the way that we think, we have the experiences that we do, we know the people that we know. And it's not until you break out of that, like, even like, I don't know, it's like, okay, I could still go out in LA and meet someone new, but it's like being in a whole different city where the vibe is different, maybe the like the culture is a little different, it's gonna like create those new neural pathways in your brain, and therefore like make you think differently and be open to different things, and you're gonna have like different ideas, and it's just like it works different parts of your brain, and it literally changes like your mindset and how you think and like everything. So travel as much as possible. If you're not able to, like, just have new experiences. And easier said than done. But like, I don't know, go to a different restaurant. I don't know. I'm trying to be realistic. But yeah, traveling definitely number one. And just like obviously say no as much as you want, but like say yes, I guess, to opportunities and like experiences that you might be interested in. Like, don't say no out of like, oh, I don't know. Like, y'all know the year of yes. I'm like the year of no, definitely. Like, say no more. But like, when it comes to this, like, okay, maybe I will try something new. I hope that's helpful. Someone asked about cryptocurrency. Okay, this is not that kind of podcast, but like, happy for you if that's something you're interested in. My camera's about to die, so I just wanted to close this out. Thank you guys so much for listening. Let me know your thoughts on anything I talked about down below. I'm so excited to keep vlogging and making these podcasts, and just like, let's see what the fuck happens next. You feel me? Don't forget to share this on your Instagram story, and I will talk to you guys next week.